Good morning children. Welcome to Accountancy online class. In the last class, we have studied about basic accounting terminologies. In this class, we are going to see about books of prime entry. First, we will see about accounting process. Accounting process starts with identifying transactions involving money or money's worth, recording the financial transactions in the books of accounts. Transactions are recorded as when they take place based on authentic documents or evidence or proof. The authentic proofs are called as source documents. So, source documents are the authentic evidence of financial transactions. These transactions shows the nature of transactions, the date, the amount and the parties. Source documents includes cash receipt, invoice, debit note, credit note, pay-in slip, check, record slips, etc. These are the basis of recording transactions in the books of accounts. They also serve as legal evidence in case of any legal disputes. So any legal dispute arises, this source of documents serves as a legal evidence. Now we will see some of the source documents that are commonly used. First one is cash receipt. Cash receipt, it shows the date, amount of the cash purchases and cash sales and any other cash transactions. Next one is pay-in slip. When cash or money is deposited in the bank, a slip has to be filled up. This slip is called as pay-in slip. So it should be filled up along with the cash or check that has to be deposited in the bank. The main part will be retained by the bank and the counterfoil will be duly signed by the banker and it will be returned to the customer. The next one is check. Check is a negotiable instrument. Checkbook is issued by the bank to the customer for making any payment or for withdrawing money for his own personal use. The next one is invoice. Invoice is prepared for credit purchases or credit sales. The date, amount and details of credit purchases and credit sales are recorded in the invoice. It is prepared by the seller and given to the customer. Credit note. It is a statement prepared by the seller who receives back from his customer the goods sold. It contains details such as a description of the goods, quantity returned and also their value. It is a document sent by a seller to the buyer stating that certain amount is owed to the buyer. Now we will see what is debit note. A buyer may return the goods to the seller in various situations such as when goods are defective or damaged, goods do not meet the specification, etc. When goods are returned by the buyer prepares a debit note and sends it to the seller. It contains details such as the description of the goods, quantity returned and their value. Now we will see about double entry system. Double entry system of bookkeeping is a scientific and complete system of recording the financial transactions of an organization. So what is double entry system of bookkeeping? It is a scientific and complete system of recording the financial transactions of an organization. Children, every transaction has two-fold effect. There are two aspects involved, namely receiving aspect and giving aspect. So what are the two aspects involved in the double entry system? Receiving aspect and giving aspect. It is denoted by debit. So in shortened form it is written as DR and credit CR. So debit and credit. The basic principle of double entry system is that for every debit there must be an equivalent and corresponding credit. So what is the principle of double entry system? For every debit, there must be an equivalent and corresponding credit. Now we will see about principles of double entry system. So look at the slide. It shows the principles of double entry system. In every business transaction, there are two aspects. The two aspects involved are the benefit receiving aspect and benefit giving aspect. The two aspects involve minimum two accounts, one debit and one credit. For every debit, there is a corresponding and equivalent credit. If one account is debited, the other account must be credited. So there are two aspects in every business transaction, receiving aspect and giving aspect, and two accounts involved in that, one debit and one credit. If one account is debited, the other account must be credited. Now let us see what is transaction. What is transaction? Transaction involves transfer of money or money's worth, that is goods or services or ideas, from one person to another. Transaction is classified into two. One is the cash transaction and another one is the credit transaction. Cash transaction means cash receipt and cash payment, immediately it will take place. But in credit transaction, transaction will taken place but the payment will be made later. So transactions are divided into two, cash transactions and credit transactions. Now we will see about accounting equation approach. The relationship of assets with that of liabilities to outsiders and to owners in the equation form is known as accounting equation. So what is accounting equation? It shows the relationship of assets with that of liabilities to outsiders and to owners. Under the double entry system of bookkeeping, every transaction has twofold effects, which causes the change in assets and liabilities or capital in such a way that an accounting equation is completed. So under the double entry system of bookkeeping, every transaction has twofold effects. So capital plus liabilities is equal to assets. So this is the accounting equation approach. Children, now we will see how the accounts are classified. The accounts are classified into 5 categories. First one is asset account. Second one is liability account. Third one is capital account. Fourth one is revenue account. And the fifth one is expense account. So what is asset account? Any physical thing that has monetary value are called as asset account. Example, land and buildings, machinery, these are all comes under asset account. Liability account, financial obligations of an enterprise towards outsiders or comes under liabilities account. For example, creditors account, outstanding account, these are all comes under liabilities. Capital account, financial obligations of a business enterprise towards its owners are grouped under this category. For example, capital contributed by owner is a capital account. Next one is revenue account. Accounts relating to revenue of an enterprise are grouped under this category. For example, revenue from sale of goods, rent received, all comes under revenue account. Expense account, expenses incurred and losses suffered for earning revenue are grouped under this category. For example, purchase of goods, salary paid, these are all comes under expenses account. Children, now we will see the classification of accounts. Accounts are classified into personal and impersonal. So look at the chart, it shows classification of accounts. Accounts are classified into personal and impersonal. And the personal is divided into natural, artificial, representative. So personal is classified into natural, artificial and representative. And impersonal is classified into real and nominal. Under real, it comes tangible and intangible. So now let us see what is personal account. Account relating to person is called personal account. So what is personal account? Account relating to a person is called as personal account. So the personal account may be natural, artificial or representative personal. Now what is natural person's account? Natural person means human beings. Natural person means human beings. Example, Vinod account, Malini account. So natural persons means human beings. Artificial person means artificial person refers to the person other than human beings recognized by law as person. So who is the artificial person? Artificial person refers to the persons other than human beings recognized by law as persons. So they include business concerns, charitable institutions, etc. Now we'll see who is called representative personal account. These are the accounts which represent persons, natural or artificial, or a group of persons. Example, outstanding salaries account, prepaid rent account. When expenses are outstanding, it is payable to a person. So who is representative personal account? These are the persons which represent persons, natural or artificial, or a group of persons. So examples are outstanding salaries account and prepaid rent account. Now the next one is impersonal account. All accounts which do not affect person are called as impersonal account. So what is impersonal account? All accounts which do not affect persons are called impersonal account. They are classified into real account and nominal account. First we will see what is real account. All accounts relating to tangible and intangible properties and possessions are called as real account. So what is real account? All accounts relating to tangible and intangible properties and possessions. So tangible real account. It includes account of properties. It includes accounts of properties which can be seen and touched. They have physical existence. Example, plant, machinery, building, furniture. Children, these assets we can see and we can touch. It has physical existence. So these are called tangible real accounts. The next one is intangible real accounts. So this includes accounts of properties and possessions which cannot be seen and touched. They do not have any physical existence. Example, goodwill, patents, copyrights, etc. So tangible real accounts we can see and touch, whereas intangible account, these are also the accounts of properties and possessions but which cannot be seen and touched. They do not have any physical existence. Now the next one is nominal account. These accounts is relating to expenses, losses, revenues and gains. So let us see the examples of nominal account. Salaries, wages, rental income, interest income, etc. Children, these are temporary accounts and it will be transferred to trading and profit and loss account depending on whether these are direct or indirect respectively. Children, now we will see the accounting rules. The classified accounts have two rules. One related to the debit and another related to the credit for recording the transactions. This is called as the golden rules of double entry system. Children, this is very important. Everyone should know this golden rules of double entry system. First one is personal account. Debit the receiver, credit the giver. Second one is real account. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. And the third one is nominal account. Debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. Children, now we are going to classify the following into personal, real and nominal account. Capital, building, carriage inwards, cash, commission received, bank, purchases, Chandru, outstanding wages. We'll see how to classify it into personal, real and nominal account. Children, now we will classify whether the following items are personal, real and nominal. Capital. Capital is the amount invested by the owner. It is a personal account. Building, property. So it is a real account. Carriage inwards is an expense. So all the expenses, nominal account. Cash, real account. Commission received, it's an income. So it is a nominal account. Bank, artificial, personal account. Purchases, it is considered as an expenditure, so it is a nominal account. Chandru, personal account because it relates to a name of a person. Outstanding wages, representative personal account. Children, this is your homework sum. You have to identify the following whether it is a personal, real and nominal account and you have to write the answer. I'll read the sum, you listen carefully. Capital, salary, building, sales, goodwill, prepaid expenses, Indian Overseas Bank, interest paid, Ranjan, cash in hand. So you have to find out whether it belongs to personal, real and nominal account and write the answer. Thank you children. Have a nice day. Children, hope you would have gone through the video. Learn the golden rules of accounting. Do the homework sum only in your accounts classwork, not in rough notebook or in a piece of paper. Stay safe, stay home. Thank you children.